Did you happen to know that the woman who was drowned in the sea in GTA 5 near Fort Zancudo with cement on her feet and so on, as if it were a mafia-style death, she is actually alive even after who knows how many decades in the game's sea? That's right, my friends. In today's video, I will be bringing you some curiosities about the mysteries of GTA 5. It's not necessarily a resolution of mysteries and so on, but they are curiosities that sometimes people don't notice, and I would like to bring them to you. So if you know the channel, leave a like and subscribe, and let's get started. In this video here, we are going to talk about two specific mysteries. The first one will be the mystery of the abandoned mine, and the other will be the mystery of Leonora Johnson. If I feel there was a positive feedback, I will bring more videos about curiosities of mysteries, okay? So let's go. The first thing about the Fred mystery, which is there in the abandoned mine and so on, is that this mystery is the only one that is not available in the old generation. Unlike the Leonora or Jolene Cranley mystery, this mystery was included only in the PlayStation 4 version onwards. And along with the addition of this mystery, a new location was also included, which is the abandoned mine where we find his last clue. Still on this mystery, this is the only mystery where you can get two exclusive benefits. One of them is accessing Mr. Richards' room, that room that appears in the cutscenes and etc. when Michael goes to the cinema. It's not available in free mode, but if you're running this side mission, you'll be able to access it and see everything inside, which is pretty cool. And the second benefit of this mystery is that after you complete a different mystery, for example Leonora, Jolene Cranley, etc., you still get two more filters to use in the game and leave them in a cinema style like the 80s, 50s, etc. The owner of the company that commits the murders, this guy's name is Fred Quincy, and he owns in the game the Fred Pictures. This Fred Pictures is a reference to Walt Disney in real life that you can clearly see there because of the image of Mickey appearing, and even in one of the clues of this mystery, it is specified that Fred, despite everything he did, he draws for children. One of the guys mentioned in these two mysteries is a guy named David Richards. This David Richards, he is Solomon Richards' father, but he never actually appears in the game. He is referenced on the game's radio that he died at 103 years old, and he died a year before the period in which we play, which is in 2013. In Solomon's office, there is a reference to the Addams family. There's a little hand right there on top of the desk. If you look over there, I think it's on the right corner. You'll see the little hand positioned there, and it's obvious that it's a reference to the Addams family. David Richards, who is Solomon Richards' father, although he never actually appears in the game. He is the only character involved in two mysteries. As I mentioned before, he is involved in the Leonora Johnson mystery, and he is also involved in the Isaac mystery at the abandoned mine. When we're doing this mystery, we can find, actually not during the time of the mystery, but we can find at any moment of the game, out there in the game's sea, in this part of the map, a woman with concrete feet, hood on her head, and so far, so good. What's the cool part here that you notice when you're doing this mystery? When you get to Michael's office, you see the letter that is Fred's letter to David Richards. Fred in this case is the killer, and you can see the date on the top of the letter, which is 1949. What's cool here is that this style of death, which is those concrete on the feet and etc., it was really used in the 40s and 50s, 1940, 1950, by the Los Angeles Mafia. They would eliminate traitors this way. They would put these cement shoes on, throw them in the sea, and they would never have a trace of these people again. This technique was widely used to silence informants and traitors, which is what Fred accuses that woman of being, and Isaac too. The clues scattered around the city of Los Santos, and the letter right in the middle of Solomon's office. When Michael gets there, it suggests that someone else inside Richards Majestic knew about Fred's atrocities. Probably someone found out by reading that same letter that was there, which Michael ends up finding. However, instead of exposing himself and dying like the others did, that woman who drowned and Isaac in the abandoned mine, this person instead left several clues around the city and kept monitoring to see if someone would find them. With that, she ends up monitoring Michael, and at the moment, Michael goes to Solomon's office. She leaves Fred's letter on the table at a very opportune moment for Michael to see. I say this because to me it doesn't make much sense. I don't know, maybe Solomon Richards is doing this, leaving the letter up there, incriminating his father. So from my point of view, the same person who left the clues in the city is the same person who left the letter there for Michael to see. Although you can uncover everything, justice is never served. Because of David Richards' age, who is also mentioned in the middle of the letter and the time of the letter, which was 1949, and the game is set in 2013, we can assume that the killer, who is Fred Quincy, was also a very old man, I don't know, around David Richards' age, and probably has already died, which prevents justice. Many people, when they are solving this mystery, they interpret this letter here as if it were kind of an apology request. However, in fact, what many people did not notice is that this letter is a threat letter. Fred Quincy, who sends this letter to Solomon, he says in the letter that he killed 2 people and got rid of them because they betrayed him in some way. And then he ends up dropping some phrases like, "I hope you value our friendship." He also ends up writing further, "If you were to say anything, well, I have made tough decisions before, I would make them again." In other words, making it clear that he has made tough decisions before and he would do it again. He was probably referring to having killed those 2 people who worked with him, and then he makes it clear that he values friendship, and in the end he even says that he bought 5% of Richard's Majestic for $450,000, which is way above market value. In other words, this was a way to make the 2 partners and accomplices at the same time, even if David Richards did not want to be part of that story. Although David Richards did not commit any of the murders, he was involved in these 2 mysteries in the game, and he had information that would solve everything, including the letters. In other words, with Fred's letter, he could denounce Fred, and with Peter Dreyfuss's letter, who had killed Leonora, he could also arrest Peter Dreyfuss. However, what is not exactly known is why he did not bring this to light, because it may be that he liked being involved in this, as he was in all this Vinewood underworld. Since in Peter Dreyfuss's letter, he mentions that there was once in Mexico where the 2 paid prostitutes to stab each other, which suggests that they are a bit crazy. But also from Fred's letter, it can be understood that David Richards could have been afraid to denounce and end up like Leonora Johnson and all the others who died, silenced by the barons of Vinewood. Besides the website where we can find information about the Leonora Johnson mystery, we are also alerted by the in-game radio about the scattered letters. The one who talks about this is Solomon Richards' son. This is quite common to notice for English speakers. However, 99% of people who play this game in another language have no clue about this because you won't pay as much attention to the radio. In the final mission of Leonora Johnson, you can interact in a few different ways. For example, if you get there and interact with Peter Dreyfuss, he will flee in his car. However, if before you enter the mission, you either destroy Peter Dreyfuss's car or move him out of the way or take the car's tires off, you will have various dialogues and different reactions from him, which is pretty cool.
I'm an artist! I'm not bound by the petty law. Oh, shit! My tires have blown!
Dreyfuss, get the fuck back here!
Away from me! I'm an artist! I'm not bound by the petty law. Where the hell's my car?
Dreyfuss, get the fuck back here!
Go to hell, you ignoramus!
A cool point that I hadn't noticed is the following. I thought that when we killed Peter Dreyfuss using Franklin, that news wouldn't come out. It was like Peter Dreyfuss died and that was the end of it. However, it seems that Franklin puts that information on the internet and lets everyone know that Peter Dreyfuss was the killer. In fact, this resonates on the game's radio and in some news on the internet, like on Blitter. Although Leonora Johnson didn't manage to become a very successful actress, her name is also on the GTA 5 Walk of Fame, just like Peter Dreyfuss's name, who was a director. According to the game's internet, Peter Dreyfuss was a phenomenal director, and David Richards is also on the Walk of Fame along with Fred Quincy. That same woman who was silenced by Fred, who was thrown there with his feet full of concrete in the ocean, very close to Fort Zancudo. If you take her out of the water with a modder and put her on solid ground, you will see that she keeps moving the same way, as if she was still in the water. If you can move her correctly, without getting her stuck on the ground in any way, obviously you'll have to use a mod for that. You'll be able to interact with her in some ways. These interactions can be dialogues when you point a gun at her. For example, if you point a gun with Michael, Michael will say some lines like as if he were a normal NPC and not like a corpse. That corpse will always stand up, it doesn't fall to the ground. You can even kill that corpse, the police can also do that, and then, yes, it will be on the ground, so that suggests that it's alive in some way. Furthermore, depending on the occasion, you can also manage to punch her. And if you punch her and she, responds, let's say, you'll be able to kill her again. And what's even more bizarre, when I punched her here, money even fell for me. I got $14. And sometimes, when you manage to move her correctly, remember I told you guys, if you use a mod to move her and she bugs out in some way, she doesn't respond. But sometimes you can also point a gun at her and she'll start running, even with concrete stuck to her feet and a hooded head. And it's pretty funny and bizarre at the same time because she doesn't even have another foot. One is stuck in concrete and the other doesn't exist. If you look, it's kind of bizarre. One thing I understood by looking at a lot of stuff about Peter Dreyfuss and so on is that he self-justifies by saying he killed Leonora that way so he could understand and make better movies. Since he mutilated a person, went through some really crazy experiences, with that, he could have more creativity to make other types of films. Basically, the guy is a psychopath, but anyway, it's just a perception that I acquired, studying a little of this mystery to bring these curiosities. These are just a few curiosities about the mysteries of GTA 5. If you comment that you liked it, I'll bring a part 2. There are things in GTA 5 that almost no one notices even playing directly, like for example the characters that can die in GTA 5, but in GTA Online you find out that it wasn't canonical. By clicking here next to this yellow arrow, you will understand better what I'm saying. I'm sure this video will surprise you. That said, I hope you enjoyed it. I count on your like and subscription, and we'll see you in the next video.